waiting. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. All right.
It's the same crowd.
It's the same crowd. I know. Hi, guys. We need to approve the agenda as presented. Need a motion?
I make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We need to approve the consent agenda. Need a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Flip down to audience delegations. Have we got any this evening?
No, ma'am.
Monthly information items. Is that an action? That is not. That is information. Okay.
I would just like to thank the principals for all of their reports.
Yes.
Thank
They're
you.
very informative, and we do read them. Speaking for myself, I read them. I won't say we.
I'm right there with you.
I read them.
Since we're discussing, did I see something like our attendance is down again? Did we lose some
Talk
more
about enrollment.
enrollment?
Yes, our kindergarten class is 141.
143.
Didn't roll on one today.
All right.
We tried to enroll an extra one too on the first days.
Yes, we did.
So we're recruiting now?
we are. We're doing our best.
I was noticing that today. That I mean, I wouldn't say it's a steady decline because the numbers are off a little bit from the years. But does that mean we have fewer? We don't really have people moving out of Harrisonville. Does that mean we have people
Well, it
that
could
are
be
having
aging.
fewer children?
Could be aging demographic. Could be lower birth rates. There are a lot of things. It's difficult, unfortunately, to gather true birth rate data because we have so many hospitals close by. So, so it's difficult. I would look at the overall trend, and yes, our smallest two classes are kindergarten and first grade. It is something that I am concerned for that it will continue. And again, just to reiterate, when I met with the Cass County superintendents last year, there's 10 schools in the county, and 9 schools experienced enrollment drops. So, give you a little reflection on that. And one of them, probably the most severe drop, was at Belton. So.
Yeah, they had to close one of their schools or something. 700 some students, I think, was their drop. Yeah, and they closed an elementary.
That's a huge difference between the senior class versus the kindergarten class coming in.
Yeah,
that's a huge
right.
difference. Okay.
But now we can kind of pinpoint it to those grades where before it was kind of spread out amongst the classes, but now we're seeing it hone in on those younger kids, right?
This year.
This year. Yeah.
And I mean, everybody's concerned about it. Bing and I were at the Cass County Economic Development meeting, and we're all talking about ways that we can meet the needs of kids and how we can grow the county. And I mean, it's on everybody's mind. So it's not just our district. I know.
And it's not like a spike in homeschooling or virtual schooling or anything like that, but they're keeping their kids home. So.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. We will move on to the 2019-20 levy rates. We need a motion.
Move to approve the levy for the 2019-20 fiscal year as follows. Incidental General Fund, $3.90. Teacher Special Revenue Fund, 0.0. Debt Service Fund, 1.1772. Capital Projects Fund, 0.0. for a total tax levy of 5.0772.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Or nay. However that works.
And this one didn't have to be roll call, right?
No.
Okay.
Moving on to the assessment and evaluation of district programs.
Okay, July is very non-eventful, so you'll see that the notes in here today are the same, and just got us by that first month with our conversion to our new software. So we got everything out that first month. Our total cash and investments are $8.795 million at the end of July.
Let's see here. Facilities and program evaluation, Jason?
Yeah, I won't read the report, kind of go through that first and then show some pictures and just have a few discussion points. With the facilities, kind of the, number 7 goal of CSIPs, kind of where that kind of comes into play with a safe and secure environment. Safety's been kind of a focus. Obviously this year with facilities, the transition has been a big issue from Aramark to ABCO, and also the transition with facilities director back in October, and then we're still currently in that transition of finding a facilities director. So we've been through that transition down many men and women in certain spots, so playing catch up quite a few areas. But also just a reminder, kind of some big things that happened over this past year. We had the water main break at McEwen a couple times with an overall replacement there of that water line over spring break. We also replaced an HVAC unit, a rooftop unit at McEwen unexpectedly, and you'll see through the report that HVAC needs are real. They're happening on a regular basis. With the chiller systems, we still have some condensation issues that continually come into play, and we see that throughout our hallways and with our ceiling tiles and other, just rooms out. It seems like daily there's a little room a room that will be out from one of the units. So HVAC is going to be something that we're really going to look at in the future. Aesthetically, the great news is, I think, hopefully principals will mention this, when we have people come in, I hear it on a regular basis from outside people coming to our schools that, wow, your schools look nice. We can take a lot of pride. We were able to get some asphalt done. Jokingly, I was at a school when we were doing the tours for food service, and we went into the parking lot, and I was like, hey, their parking lot's not quite as bad as ours, so I felt pretty good at that time. There's aging facilities around. So our goal is not to say, just let our facilities age, though we want to continue to try to be as preventative as possible and work through some plans that haven't been in place for a long time and try to create those plans. So aesthetics is a big part of that. Little things such as painting and trying to stretch the dollar, making things just look nice, knowing that we're not trying to cover up what needs fixed, but we want people to take pride in their learning environments and their safe environment too. So the Hollis and Miller facilities assessment, which I did include, that is a pretty lengthy spreadsheet, and I'm not going to have Kathy open that up right now, but there's a tab for each school. What I've tried to do is take that over the last probably year and a half, by the time I kind of got settled in this position, and try to mark through what we're getting accomplished that's on that plan, and then also add to, because as soon as we accomplish something, there's 2 more things that need to be done, or 3 or 4 more things that need to be done, and those are sometimes cheaper than some of those other things. So the goal is to try to stretch that dollar as much as we can, get the biggest bang for our buck. An example of that was this year with the asphalt, and how that came in. We were able to get a lot more asphalt. We didn't do some of our flooring and carpeting needs. We'll have to kind of work through that and just assess that on a regular basis. So, but that Hollis and Miller plan is there. It has the dollar amounts that were estimated at that time, which seem to be pretty big most of the time, or in excess of what some of the quotes and stuff as we've made some of those projects come through. But a big part of that is secure vestibules are on all those, and that's a big security thing. I know in the future we're going to need to continue to look at ways to do that, and our HVAC needs. We're hitting some of the asphalt potential boiler needs in the future are on there, but we keep looking at that. And through the strategic plan, I think facilities are going to be a part of that. We're just going to have to continue with that plan. This fall, there was a plan to work with ACS, which is our HVAC company, to come in and really do an assessment of our HVAC with our director. So we plan to continue to do that as soon as we get a director. And ACS will come through, tour our HVAC needs, so that will help build. I put a spreadsheet in there. Those are just kind of working document spreadsheets, plans, so they kind of change on a regular basis. But we'll just need to build through there. I'm trying to keep track of what we have replaced, because I don't have any data from prior than 2 years ago of what was replaced. It's hard to dig that up, so I'm sure we probably can, but there wasn't an easy spreadsheet that just said, here's the HVAC that was replaced, here's the concrete that was replaced. So that's my goal, is to just kind of keep that so we can always be looking at that. But going back to the HVAC needs, that's going to be something we'll walk through so that we can put a plan in place, and hopefully, all right, maybe put that into budget. We'll replace this one. It's the one that needs the most replacement, or most need for replacement. Understanding, as soon as we do, there's potential that this one fails. It's just kind of an unknown world that we're in right now. Roofs are another area that we're in pretty good shape. Yes, we have leaks, but with the hail damage that we had a couple years ago, obviously we were able to get some new roofs on some certain areas. Most of our leaks are in transition areas, and so we'll get a company in, we'll do a walkthrough with that too, and try to really seal some of those transition areas and fix some of those things. So anyway, that's kind of the general report. Kathy, if you'd pull up some pictures, just so it's always fun to go through, and I'm not a photographer, and this is kind of basic, but some things that were done this summer, just so you can kind of see it. The clay room at the high school probably hadn't been touched for 20 some odd years. I don't know, it was pretty bad. But we did spray the whole thing, including the ceiling. You can see some chipping on the ductwork there. So we just taped that off, sprayed the whole thing. We did put quite a bit of work on that floor. The floor probably hadn't been touched for years, and a clay floor on a VCT tile is just deteriorated. So a lot of work there, cleaned that up, made that pretty nice. A couple pictures before and after. Mr. Menching's trailer that's out back. We took his name off of it.
Took my name off.
So that was there. Just kind of cleaned it up. Again, that's an aesthetic thing. It's not really that noticeable there, and does offer us some storage. So just trying to clean that up. Some of our carpet needs. This was a room that we were not able to let go by. And some of this is from, all the carpet is pretty much the same throughout the district. I'm assuming it was all put in roughly at about the same time. And our carpet extractors for many years probably were not functioning as well as they needed, so a lot of water was getting there. And so this is what typically happens, especially in the summer when they clean them, and some come back and some do not. This is the second time we've tried to cut and do some things with this room, but we replaced it with the carpet tiles. My plan would be to do carpet squares for everything that we do in the future. That way we can always just replace them as needed, and sections as needed. The parking lot before, asphalt, obviously safety issues. This is just one example, before and after, and the new line. So that turned out really good. Wildcat Academy, folks are upset I did not include pictures of Wildcat Academy parking lot, which is probably one of the nicest parking lots in our district right now. But if you drive by, it looks really nice on that corner, and it was really in bad shape too. So concrete before, just some areas where it's cracked, our ADA ramps. And then an example after that's fixed. Obviously we have different coloration, but we're getting rid of the chips. And we've had some ankle rolls a couple times, I think, in the past, and had some claims on people that have hurt themselves. So those are things that we're looking for. The IT classroom, I did not get a before on this, but that wall was like about 6 different colors back there. So that was the first thing they painted this summer, and they were really excited to paint that first because they could really see their progress right off the bat. But then we were able to get some new furniture in there and have that new IT classroom set up, so it's looking pretty good. steps on each side of the gym going down into the locker rooms. This is our local painters. Our paint crew did this, and obviously that's the epoxy, garage floor epoxy. There's some areas here that the football players, our guest football players, I think, have cleats on and stuff like that. So just trying to keep that nice. Now that gym has pretty much, we have a few new lights to put in, but it's received new lights, new paint, new floor. It's in really good shape there. A few leaks and some humping of the floor for some moisture issues, but we'll work on that. Weight room, just cleaned it up. It's amazing. Asphalt work, you can see this is at McEwen, but just some pictures of what they did. This is what they did in many of the places where they milled that out. Some was repair and replace, some was overlay. That's a mill where they mill it out about 2 inches, and then they fill that in. So what that looks like.
That's where the trench was too for that.
Yeah, some of that's where the trench was for the water line, and then some other areas were just, we cut it out. Did some drainage work on the backside of McEwen. Obviously, you remember we did some a year and a half ago or so after we had to flood and had water in the gym. But this area was always kind of swampy. This is between the school and the hard play. And so just tied in our downspouts and took them out to just move water away. Goal is to move water away from the buildings. If we have water right next to the buildings, then we have more moisture, which is affecting our HVAC needs, which is affecting our air quality and everything else. So the first thing we can control is exterior water, try to get it as far from the building as possible is kind of the plan on that. So that's one example of that. Concrete at McEwen, you can see dangerous broken spots, some before and after. Lots of before there. And then after new ADA ramp, whole section tying in the curb. We'll have some extra seams, but again, we're stretching the dollar instead of breaking out that whole thing. Let's just repair what's really broken here and see if we can get by with that for a while. Some more dirt work and drainage. They get that water flowing away. That's on the back side of the middle school. There's a field inlet, but the water, field inlet wasn't catching the water because the drainage just had settled over the years. So just trying to work through some of that. We didn't get as much caulking done as we had liked, but just an example of the stadium caulking and at the middle school. So that's along the sidewalk between the middle school gym and the walkway going down or drive towards the school or towards the stadium. A lot of water getting, again, underneath there. We have some humidity issues in the gym and the floor warping in some places. The concrete slopes. It's real expensive to tear all that out, so let's at least try to seal it and keep as much water out as possible. So, some paint, put a new line in at the middle school in the paint area there and clean that up. Put the blue stripe, just makes it look nice. Concrete that was really bad right in front of the middle school, you might have stepped on that and slid a little bit, so that's all kind of taken care of. And curbing. HES had the two-tone walls. We were going to paint on the bottom side, and the elementaries, for some reason, like from our waist down, is just always really dirty. So by doing this stripe this way, we just simplified it and made it so it's much faster for our paint crew to do it. And we painted white from the blue, dark blue, white down, and the dark blue on the top, painted that blue, simplified it, how much taping they have to do and everything else, and it's a pretty sharp look. So we've done that through a couple wings in the front, or the second grade, and the entrance there. We'll go the other wings hopefully in the future. And again, some more drainage. That's beside the elementary gym, HES gym, where water hopefully will flowing out, and we've tiled some water away from the building. Stucco repair. I didn't get a before picture, but that was all beat up right there from just years of weed eaters and mowers hitting that. And again, then water's potentially penetrating that. So we did stucco repair at the ECC and middle school. Mud jacking at the stadium. This is underneath the bleachers above the training room and the locker room. We've had water coming down into there for years trying to fix this. We've caulked this gap. Had some people look at it. That slab had sunk a couple inches, so we mud jacked that up and then caulked that, hoping to fix it. We still think we still have some water issues coming in there. So stadium honestly has some potential concerns with the fill that's underneath that stadium, that whole wall. I shared, I think, a couple years ago that wall. When we mud jacked here, he put all his holes in here. We got sidewalks clear out here coming up. So that's saying we're pretty soft through there if his fill was going in here and finding its way elsewhere. So what that, in my non-expert opinion, means it's pretty soft if he's drilling special holes to raise this right here and it's coming out clear over there. So we'll continue to monitor that. We have some other things we want to fix for some water there at the stadium. But our goal was to fix the training room. Hopefully we made it better, but I'm not sure if it's completely done there. I think that's all the pictures. Also included there, obviously, was just kind of the flooring plan, pavement plan. Again, those are works in progress. Those are just spreadsheets that I kind of work out of as I try to remember when we replace or do something. The pavement plan made some changes. We did some work this spring before we did that asphalt work. We'll continue to look at that, assess, see how much money we're going to have, see if we can stretch that dollar and do some more crack sealing, maybe some just general sealing in some areas. I think most of our really bad spots are taken care of. We need to do some work at the ECC/stadium parking lot on the east side. We have some water flow issues coming off the road there, and we're going to need to swell our parking lot a little bit at that entrance and do some asphalt work to keep the water going down the street in the gutter and not coming across our parking lot, which then in turn erodes our parking lot. So that's one of those things that we're going to look at. So on the end of the report, strengths, overall good-looking, safe, comfortable learning environment in general. Yes, we can get better, and we want to get better. That's our goal. But in comparison to many schools that we're in, I'm not in as many anymore. But as a principal, I would always walk through every building I was in at a ball game and look at some stuff. And compliments we get when we host events, such as the Show Choir Festival at the high school, which is one of the biggest events we have. We're going to be having the band event this fall, which will be huge for this community and for our community and our school. People always comment on our stuff. So we've really tried to work on new lighting in our big areas. We did some new lights at the stadium, new lights in the gym that are more energy efficient, going with the LED. The light bulbs that we replace from here on out through this, we're going to be changing to LED bulbs and just transitioning. We have more upfront cost, but the energy savings, the light quality, and then just the length of that repair, hopefully get about 10 years out of those. So we're going to be transitioning to those LED lights as we're replacing. So paint and finish, our gyms are in good shape, which is good. New asphalt in many of our high needs areas, especially the high school parking lot where a lot of people go. So we'll hit the other around the stadium area where we have a lot of people and patrons attend. Our main concerns are HVAC needs, asphalt and concrete, just to make sure our holes are getting fixed, or asphalt or concrete. Any spots that are bad, we're getting those repaired. We still have some money in the budget this year, so we'll continue to look at some concrete needs. The roof leaks throughout the district, that just if we can get on top of that. The track has a lot of cracks and is starting. That's a high dollar fix, but it's going to end up being safety concerns here at some point. So we're going to need to look at that. The stadium that I mentioned, the south wall cracks and settling and leaks in the training room, and just fill issues there, and that's kind of unknown. But CCC, the building settling on the south side, electrical and overall space is just a concern there. It's an aging building. We have it aesthetically looking pretty nice, but it's just constant electrical needs there. I don't think there's any change to the settling of the building and that track, but we're going to continue to keep our eye on that. HMS, just water flow, water getting down into that concessions or into the cafeteria area. Water, everything. It just seems like everything at the middle school slopes in. All the sidewalks are sloping in, so I have a feeling almost there's a swimming pool underneath the middle school.
Are they sloping in to the south? Where
They're-
like in the direction of the retaining wall at the stadium?
No, this is at the middle school. I'm saying just around the whole middle school. All the
Building
sidewalks, all your ground, on the east and the west sides, everything's just kind of sloping in. And so just concerns with that. But the main things are the water going down by the cafeteria, that ramp. We just have to always watch that. So we have a new floor there, new VCT tile, and we have a new gym floor. And I think when it flooded a couple years ago, we got water in there, and it's not all out. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. And then creating a preventative plan while we chase our tail, fixing all the things. That's time and money to go through there. So the new work order system right now we put into effect in July, that I can monitor that. APCO has some management that's monitoring that, and then our people are using that. We put it into work in the first part of July. We've completed 200 to 220 work orders, and there's 110 roughly in progress right now. So there's 110 work orders, maintenance work orders, that are not preventative work orders, not changing the filters, not checking the belts, not doing the things that we need to do. It's 110 work orders. We have 4/5 maintenance guys, and so that's 110 that are sitting there working right now. So they're staying very, very busy.
I'd just like to say I think it's a wonderful job. I love seeing the pictures before and after, and I think being out in the community when you see these little improvements, like they patched over the asphalt, painted different things, and they patched the concrete, it makes people feel a sense of pride in the building, even though it's not a total replacement, it's a fix of something. And I think that's important for the public to see that, and it lets them know, yeah, we see these things and we're getting them fixed. So I want to say good job on that, definitely.
I will also say I saw pictures of a couple of the things that were done at Cass Midway. Painting over a paper clip on the wall instead of just removing the paper clip, or a mouse.
Oh, no.
So I appreciate our paint crew. Good job.
And that'll be something we'll have to work through, how that'll look in the future with APCO. But Michael Norman runs that as a paint crew, and he works on the side now as a painter too. They caulk and put clear caulking when they do those striping and paint, and then take that caulking off, and that's how they can get it. They've got it down to how to paint these brick walls and how to deglaze them ahead of time. So consistency has been very, very important with. He's done that for now 3 years, and he can just go and take his crew, a couple kids, and get a lot of painting done. So they did a lot of painting this year.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Jason.
I had another question before we move on our statement. You mentioned how there's like 110 work orders out there or something like that. How is and maybe Jill can answer this better, the new website that we have where people can report? Isn't there a button at the bottom or something of every page? Oh, is it? Okay. What was it for? Like report something?
Yeah, so tip line, they can give a shout out to someone.
Okay.
You can report something, you can ask a question. We've had a little bit of experience with them asking questions that we could really answer for them, but they're not putting in their name or email address or phone number. So it's been hard for us to answer the questions. But we have got a few that we can't answer that they've actually picked up on. But that's just it's a line for them to contact the school.
I was wondering if people were reporting, there's a
I think it was the city of Harrisonville that was doing that, where you could report.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they've recently adopted that.
I haven't got any of those yet.
Okay.
Right now, the building principals and their secretary have the ability to put in a work order. So teachers need to talk to them, and that gets rid of one step of the approval process, and just teachers just putting everything in. At least they need to mention it, and they can kind of screen that out. And then they can see in their own building when it's marked done. Again, we've been in transition with the director that will oversee that, and so some probably need to be closed out that haven't been closed out, and there's just not some regularities to that. But I like to at least be able to see that and go, holy cow, yeah, there's a lot. Now I know why that didn't get done, because the room 212 at the middle school needed air conditioning, and so they worked on that all day.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to the CSIP.
So before we start with the CSIP, I just want to compliment Jason. We talk about facility plans and overall facility plans. Jason's done a really good job of taking that Hollis and Miller study and breaking it down and seeing what we've already done, using the limited dollars that he has, and making sure those things are accomplished along the way, but also developing the asphalt plan, working with facility directors that we've had to develop the asphalt plan. I talked to him about HVAC plan, so I know that's on his radar too, and roof plans as well. So those things that they're not real exciting. They look good. The asphalt looks good, especially when people see that. The HVAC, they don't see, but if you have a classroom without air conditioning and it's 90 degrees outside, you know it right away. So, I know Jason's done a really good job in working with his groups that he does oversee and making sure that those plans are getting established, because you can't attack things unless you have a plan. And I know that he's got a plan. I'd also like to compliment our principals. We've had a really good start to the school year, and no small part due to them, and their buildings are great. They've been a lot of fun to go and visit. And it's every year it's something new, and when you have a new kindergartner show up the first day of school, just get off the bus, and you have no idea who they are, and it was new to Becky, it was new to me, and it was awesome. So, yeah. So we've had a lot of fun. So it's been a good start to the school year, and it's good to see how they process that.
Oh,
So
the poor baby.
you did a good, sharp little boy.
Fine.
Sharp little boy. Yeah, that was a good one. It was a good one. It was one of our recruits that didn't pan out. So. But we talk about, the district goals, and that talks a lot about the safe and secure environment, and certainly the start of school has a lot to do with that. The guaranteed and viable curriculum. So if you look at goal number 1, establishing a guaranteed and viable curriculum for all content areas. So we have the curriculum plan that we shared with you last year, the curriculum resource plan that we shared with you last year. I know Christy's done a good job of working with principals and teachers and implementing those different plans. One building in particular, look at McEwen. So our plan was, the curriculum resource plan originally was to have a pilot group. Well, because of the departmentalization at McEwen, they're able to have all of the teachers have those resources for reading this year, because there's less teachers teaching reading. So it's actually cut in half because of the departmentalization. They've already started aligning the standards from our existing math resources to evaluate where we're going to be next year. I know Dr. Falke at HES has done a really good job of matching those standards with our existing math resources as well. So I think that's important, and I think we'll see the results. Again, it's a long game. It's not a short game, so it takes a while before those things are able to take hold. But that's a crucial part of what we do, is that establishing that viable curriculum. So I just wanted to focus on that just a little bit, because we've had a good start to the school year. So we do have a date for our strategic planning meeting. Our first strategic planning meeting will be September 16th. It's a Monday before the board meeting. We have the plan for that night is to share our what's called an environmental scan. So you talk about the demographics of the district, basically where we are at. That's what your environmental scan establishes, where we are at, so that committee then can talk about a vision of where we want to be. Included in that process is a survey, and Jill and I have been working on surveys, especially Jill. So we're using the Baldrige leadership model. If any of you are familiar with that, the questions are, very pointed, and will help guide that committee. So we're looking forward to that process. And again, September 16th, is the first official meeting, and we're rare to go on that. So
Where's it going to be at?
it's gonna be at the high school at the cafeteria. So yeah, we thought about doing it at the PAC, but we figure some people want tables to write on, so they want to take notes and all that other stuff. So that'll help. So that's what I have.
All right. Board policy BBFA. We need a motion.
Move to approve board policy BBFA as presented.
Second.
Okay. I believe this was an informational item last month. Am I correct? No.
This is just
This
a
is a
yearly.
biennial.
Yeah, this
Gotcha.
is-
Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right.
The Missouri Ethics Commission says how we're going to deal with those things.
Any discussion on this? Okay. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. I think now. Hold on, let me double check. Seems weird. All right. We need a motion to adjourn.
What?
I know. I mean,
Too early.
do we want some filler? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.